Harlan.
For our June 17th, 2019 Aleppo legislative meeting. I call this meeting to order. Let's all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we please have a roll call?
President Dobler.
Present.
Vice President Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Williams.
Present.
Commissioner Dara.
Present.
Commissioner Duplaga.
Present.
Solicitor Stone.
Here.
All right, thank you. There's a quorum present. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming out tonight. Before we get started, let me start off this meeting with a reminder. I see some new faces in the group, so for some of these folks, this won't be a reminder. It'll be a fresh alert. This meeting, like most Aleppo workshop and legislative meetings, is being recorded and streamed to YouTube. So that has a couple different implications. The first thing that means is that there could be people that are watching this meeting right now from someplace that's not here, that hear and see what's being said, and we don't know that they're here. The second thing that means is that when this meeting ends, it's automatically posted and uploaded to YouTube, so that this meeting can be watched by anybody, anywhere in the world, at any time in the future. So all those things taken together mean be on your best behavior, because you can't take back what's being said. With that warning out of the way, I will accept a motion to approve the June 10th, 2019 workshop meeting minutes.
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second, is there any further discussion? Anybody from the audience have anything to say? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. We have on the agenda revision of meeting rules, but
That's what I mean.
okay.
So we all know there's a transition coming as we have the unfortunate loss of Commissioner Dobler. And Gwen, Matt, and I have gone over some of the meeting protocol. And one of the things that Gwen and I have talked about specifically is perhaps having a time during meetings from time to time so the young folks in Aleppo Township can get more involved. And tonight, we have three very special young people from Aleppo that have a presentation to make.
Commissioner Dobler, these fine young ladies have a present.
Hello. Thank you. What's your shirt say?
Look at it.
That's awesome. How are you? Should I open this now?
Yes.
You have to look at the back too.
I hope I get one of these.
You have one.
Excellent. Excellent.
For those who aren't aware, this is Commissioner Dobler's family.
Do you know what's in here?
Yep.
Picked it out.
Right.
Well, I can't get it out. Can you help me get it out? Oh, wait, I got it. Thanks. Do you know that this means that I get to hammer this whenever I want to?
Oh, no. Family meetings will never be the same.
It says, Matthew Dobler, thank you for your service to Aleppo Township 2014 to 2019. That's beautiful. Thank you. Here I get one of these excellent
You gotta hold
t-shirts.
that up.
Yeah. That's terrific. So that's a picture.
They have you looking your best there, Matt.
It is. I think it is. There we go. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. Good job, guys.
Thanks, Mrs. Dobler.
So now, I'm confused though, because the agenda says revision of meeting rules, and that's something we're actually supposed to talk about. So we're not talking about the just the rules?
Nope.
No, we're not talking about it.
Okay. Well, thank you all very
That
much.
was a little lawyer.
You can use that gavel at home, Matt.
It worked.
We tried to make it sound boring.
I got you. All right, well, thank you all very much. Okay, and I'll have more to say about that on my own time later. Reports. Fire.
No report.
No report. Okay, so next report is B, police report. Okay, this is not, but in a normal meeting, this would be Manny, this is not Manny.
Evening.
Evening. For those, I'm not Chief Annie, I'm Sergeant Beck, and I do not play Chief Annie on TV. We'll talk about the report for the month of May 2019. As you'll see, there were 114 calls of service. 114 sounds like a lot, but if you take the fact that we had 52 medical emergencies to up to a lot of them were Masonic, assisted the ambulance over 52 times. We also issued 35 traffic citations for the month of May, various places throughout the township. We had a couple minor reports. We had a theft report that really shouldn't have been classified as that, should have been more classified as a civil dispute because it was a work-related type thing where employer and ex-employee type of an issue. A couple fraud issues where people unfortunately are still continue to be scammed via over online and things like that were happening. So other than that, it was those were kind of the bigger ones. We've not the 114 sounds more, but when you have 86 of them between those two things, you're pretty quiet. Are there any questions?
Anybody have any questions? All right, hearing none. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next report is emergency management.
No report. There's a motion later in the agenda under unfinished business.
Correct. Okay. Next is public works. This is Jarvie.
Well, for the month, you can see that we cut the grass throughout the township, and we had a lot of cleanup from the storms and heavy rains, and we had trees from the heavy winds we had to deal with. And we've been cutting back bushes around the township and down around the pond. And on the one truck, we had a hydraulic leak we had to fix, and we put new parts on the spreader. With the weather, we've had time since it's raining, so we're doing that stuff before it's time to do it. So, any questions?
And any issues with all this rain, like sediment in our storm drains or anything like that? No
Yeah,
issues?
there are basically some leaks, but
All's
as soon as
good?
we get a break, we're gonna start and go the whole circle.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
Nope. Thank you.
Thank you.
And so next is communications. There's only one email to read, and this is actually kind of mooted, sort of mooted by action we took last week, or maybe not. It has to do with board support for HR 763. This email came from John Zienchuk. It says, "My wife and I, residents of Aleppo Township, wish to provide our support for fee and dividend as a solid solution to the existing climate and ocean crisis that we face locally, nationally, and internationally. To that end, we ask the Aleppo Township Board to approve legislation that provides a resolution of support for HR 763, Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, that many other localities have already passed and supported. This is an important step toward protection for our environment, not only for this generation, but for generations that follow. Please consider our request and count it as support for any motion before the board to approve the legislation of support we have described above. Sincerely, John and Beth Zienchuk." And that is my communications report. Okay, next, planning and zoning. And, before we get to the motions printed in the agenda, is there any report?
No.
Okay, so then, the action on the table is a motion to approve the submitted Verizon-covered parking plan as recommended by the Planning Commission and HRG, subject to entering into a developer's agreement prepared by and acceptable to the township solicitor. This motion was made at the workshop meeting last week, and it was seconded, so it's ready for action tonight without need for a second. But before we do that, is there any further discussion from the board?
After this, I wanted to ask Harlan where we are with the developer on the discussions regarding extending the line. Is that under new business? I'm sorry. I mean,
I can give
unfinished business.
I'm still working on setting up a meeting between the ownership group, the management here, and the engineer for the authority and the engineer for the township, so, and the chairman of the authority. So that meeting is supposed to be, it should hopefully get scheduled this week.
Okay.
And I would say the conference call that we did have at the Planning Commission, I thought was very constructive.
Okay.
Okay, so with respect to the motion on the table, is there any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, is there any discussion, anything anybody in the board wants to say, in the room wants to say? All right, hearing none, we'll turn to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item is the zoning hearing board opening. I believe we have somebody that's here to present. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'll move up here because
That'd be terrific.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear me, and I'm a little shy.
Okay.
I apologize. What would you like to know? My family moved here in 1967. We just lived down the road. We live in the house that my wife grew up in. My name, by the way, is Braden Blosser. My wife and I have been married for 43 years. I used to work in Township of Aleppo as a police officer and in various other municipalities for 10 years. I've been in customer service. Now what I do is I do woodworking at home. I make crosses and plaques and jewelry boxes and things like that. This is not a solicitation. It was my desire to attach myself to the zoning hearing board for the improvement and the growth of Aleppo Township. I heard through the last meeting that I attended that there was need for a member, and I would be happy to be a member of that board in any capacity to help the township that I can.
I appreciate that. Thank you for your interest. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Blosser? Does anybody have a motion to make with respect to the zoning hearing board opening?
Yes. But you're going to have to repeat your name for me.
Braden Blosser.
I move to appoint Brayton Blosser to the Planning and Zoning Board.
Zoning hearing board.
Zoning Hearing Board.
Second.
All right, there's a motion and a second. We want to take action on this tonight, or do we want to defer this for a month?
I'd act on it tonight.
Mr. Blosser, how do you spell your last name?
B as in boy, L-O, S as in Sam, S as in Sam, E-R.
Okay, so the motion that I have recorded is a motion to appoint Braden Blosser to the zoning hearing board. Is that what we want it to be?
Is this to, and was this be to a new term or to fill out?
Well, the term that he would be replacing was over.
Okay, so it's a new term.
So I think it's a new term.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a 3-year term. It's a 3-year term.
Okay.
And doing things the way we have for the last few years, I suggest that we postpone this for a week. Oh, no, it won't be a week, it'll be a month.
It'll be until the next workshop meeting.
Until the workshop meeting next month.
Okay, so
Simply following protocol.
so I hear that as a motion to defer for one, for
For the next meeting.
motion to defer until the next meeting. And
We might explain why.
Mr. Blosser, I was just about to explain that. The reason that we do that, because we broadcast these meetings over the internet, we like to give residents an opportunity to comment on any action that we're about to
I
take.
understand, yes, because you have to make sure that my character is such to attend to be a member of the board.
I'd just like to hear if residents have any, otherwise, the only people that get a say in what we're about to do are the people that are sitting here. So if we let everybody else have an opportunity, we very rarely, you heard I got one email last month, so we very rarely hear anything, but occasionally we do, and we like to give them an opportunity to do that.
I agree. Thank you.
So there's a motion to defer until the next meeting. Is there a second on that
Second.
motion? There's a motion and a second. We're voting on the subsidiary motion to defer for 1 month. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, turning then to tax collector and treasurer. This is. Okay,
Good evening, everybody. You should have in your packet the month of May financial reports, the tax collection, and the treasury report. Excuse me. So for the month of May, we collected $170,344 in property tax, $1,551.56 in delinquent real estate tax, $6,845.30 in realty transfer tax, $30,574.33 in earned income, $8,029.29 in local services tax, and $57 in a business privilege tax. So you have that information on pages 3 and 4 of your packet. Puts that all in a bar graph for your information, comparing May of this year to May of last year. It also compares the year-to-date collection compared to the budget. So we're ahead in a couple areas, and still obviously not quite halfway through the year yet. So seem to be doing pretty well with all of that. And then obviously some other comparisons to 2018 for your reference if you want to take a look at any of that. Anybody have any questions about the tax collection?
I just want to make one comment. Prior to the meeting, I asked if probably once a quarter, he would give us an update if there was a line item that was off, either up or down, that we could pay attention to, so that as we proceed, if we talk about roads, we'll know, gee, we spent $100,000 more than we thought, or gee, we have $50,000 in the bank. So just to help us interpret, so maybe once a quarter.
Yep, perfectly done. Any other questions about the tax collection portion? So just to let you know about all of our account ending balances, just to kind of let you know where we are. The PNC checking account, we have $425,761.72. Then the Pliget kind of savings account that the Pennsylvania makes us put money in reserves for. The state fund, which is the liquid fuels fund, is at $77,539.71. The general investment is $980,887.83. The reserve fund is $106,715.73. The capital improvement fund is $482,110.67. So if you add that all up, it's $2,073,015.66. However, because some of that money is reserved for special things throughout the township, once you subtract out the pledged funds and the targeted funds, our net operating funds for the month of May is $1,406,649.55.
All right.
Any questions? Okay. Matt, thank you very much for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, so with that report out of the way, there is a pre-printed motion in the agenda that I will entertain at this point.
I move to approve the May bill list in the amount of $137,456.91. To ratify May prepaid bills in the amount of $11,922.31. And to ratify May payroll transfers in the amount of $17,364.08. Is
there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Anybody in the audience have anything to say? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Aleppo Township Authority.
Gave the report at the last meeting in executive session, nothing new to add to that.
Okay, thank you. Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority.
No report.
QB-COG, I have no report. Solicitor.
Other than wanting to discuss some matters involving the Masonic litigation in an executive session, I have no other report.
You want to mention the Verizon franchise agreement?
Oh, yeah. There is the Verizon franchise agreement is ready for your approval, but we just got the final changes on it today. So I don't know if, again, given the protocol, it will take an ordinance to adopt it. So maybe the best thing to do is just put that on the agenda for next month, and I'll prepare the ordinance.
Okay. All right, unfinished business. So here we go here. Motion to contact DEP and ask them to make a site inspection of 690 Glen Mitchell Road. This motion was made at the workshop meeting last week and was seconded, so it's ready for a vote without being raised or without a second. Before we do that, however, is there any further discussion among the board members? All right.
Was the owner of the property notified?
No, the letter was reviewed today and will be sent out before the DEP is called.
Okay.
So I will not make the call until he has time to receive the letter.
Thank you.
Okay, so is there any further discussion among the board members? Hearing none, anybody in the audience have anything to say on this item? Hearing none, we'll turn to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Next, motion to adopt the May 2019 version of the Emergency Operations Procedure for Aleppo Township. Same story at the legislative meeting. This was last month. This motion was made and seconded, so it's ripe for a vote without being raised or seconded. Is there any further discussion among the board members on this item? Anybody in the audience have anything to say about this item? Hearing none, we'll turn to a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Thank you. Item C, motion to hire technicians to perform AV tasks at township meetings in the amount of $100 per meeting. This was made last month and seconded, so it's also ripe for a vote without further discussion. I'm sorry, without a further second, but I will open the floor for any further discussion.
We're still working on getting this video back, Matt.
No, we videoed.
Well, like we usually
Oh.
have, when you do your minutes up there. That's
Right.
kind of nice.
Right.
When you show graphics. We wouldn't be able to do that.
So let me back up and take this step by step here. I mean, we had a problem last week with the video. And I can say that we had a video last week only because Dave Bright was here. For those of you who haven't met him, he's a man sitting in the corner back here. Dave Bright is the technicians
Hi, Dave.
that we talked about hiring here. And like I said, we had a problem last week and we would not have had a video if Dave hadn't been here. So it just was kind of fortuitous that as we make this transition, we realized exactly how valuable it is to have somebody doing that. Because we've been having these troubles, Dave and I have been spending the time beforehand getting that stuff organized. But the ultimate goal is that Dave will be taking over the roles of getting this back up here.
Would he be typing motions so we would see them up
You
there?
can handle that, right, Dave?
I can, yeah.
Yeah?
I think it's nice. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not essential, but I liked it.
So typically, Dave, what's happening is as we're firing off these motions, they're getting typed and projected up here so that people on the video through the desktop presenter
Right.
and people in the audience can see what we're writing as we go. So, that'll take some coordination between the new chair, who has to keep things honest, keep people writing their motions, and Dave being a scribe, but that can be done.
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
We'll talk slowly.
So, with that discussion out of the way, is there any further discussion among the board members? Anybody in the audience have anything to say? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. That motion carries. Dave, you're hired. Okay, next item is the HR 763 Statement of Support. Vice President Jones, do you want to take this? Did we get something from him?
Yeah, what you have in your packet are three different options provided by Tim Kelly. The first one is a statement that he drafted, just if he were writing a simple statement of support, so a statement that he suggested. The second option in the packet was a resolution by the city of Cincinnati, which is very detailed and with a lot of Cincinnati details, so that we couldn't just copy and paste that. That would have to be modified a lot. The third option that he presented was a website that you could log in and enter your name and the support and do it that way. So it would be, if the board chose to make a motion of, a letter of support, we could log in as Aleppo Township and do it there. So those are the three suggested things that Tim provided, but if the board wanted to write something separate or approach it differently, that's fine too.
I think Commissioner Jones made a very significant observation last week when we were discussing this, where he noted that he couldn't do much beyond expressing his own personal opinion with regard to the merits of this draft legislation, couldn't really speak on behalf of what is the sense of the residents across the board in Aleppo Township. I agree with that sentiment completely. I have no idea how the residents feel about it. I'm not even sure people have a good appreciation as to how this bill might potentially impact the residents. But I think the option of considering putting in your individual support is probably the most appropriate way to go. Avoid a lot of hassle back and forth trying to come to agreement on language that would say something beyond that. So that would be my suggestion.
Okay, well, the motion that we voted for last week was to draft a statement. And so I think that the appropriate thing to do is to draft a statement and then let it get voted on. So unless I hear somebody else suggesting a mechanism to draft a statement, I would suggest, I do not.
Well, I can tell you that you're not likely to draft a statement that all 5 of us are going to agree to, so where's that going to leave us?
Well, I think that's why we voted 4-1 to draft a statement. I understand that you're not going to support it.
Sorry.
Fight over the words of the statement that you draft. The one that Kelly submitted says the commissioners support it, and that's not an accurate statement.
Okay, so I would change this to the Board of Aleppo Township. The Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township.
Using this first statement?
Yeah.
Okay. I think the other ones are a little too detailed to
I
be.
agree.
Although,
So the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township support HR 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. Given that climate change and ocean acidification pose grave threats to the long-term safety and security of our current residents and those things yet to come, I would strike all that. I wouldn't. My suggestion would be the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township support HR 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, period. We urge our elected leaders to work towards its speedy passage. I think that is the most succinct way to fulfill the action that we took last week, which was to draft a statement in support of HR 763.
I would say we urge our elected leaders to work towards this as a potential solution towards climate change instead of towards a speedy passage, because this is probably going to, if it even gets going, it's going to go through iterations and versions and whatever. If it goes anywhere. Okay, George?
I thought Commissioner Dover, last week, the motion got broken into 2 parts by
Yeah.
Commissioner Dara.
It did, yep.
And Commissioner Dara, were you thinking of 2 drafts of 2 separate documents?
Well, that is what we voted on. I mean, we had 2 different actions that we took last week. Number 1 was to draft a resolution stating that climate change is a problem. And number 2 was to draft a statement in support of HR 763.
Yeah.
So I think you're right. I think we've taken them out of turn. I think the first thing to do is to draft a statement saying that climate change is a problem. But I think we can say that very similar. The Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township support the belief that climate change is a problem, period.
Yeah.
Can it be more than that?
No, I don't think we're in any rush,
No?
and I would like to discuss this at our Friday meeting, transitional meeting. I would like to discuss it with Commissioner Dara. I would like to prepare a draft that's specific to this township,
Okay,
and then vote.
sounds good to me. So is there a motion to defer? I don't think we need to defer because I don't think there's action on the table.
I think we just saw these. Tim's in no rush, we're in no rush.
So I'll just add it to the July agenda for further
Yes.
discussion? George?
And in the interim, I'm sorry.
Right,
In the
okay.
interim, we'll try and come to some agreement.
But we'll be down 1 person unless someone's going to replace Matt. Immediately. We'll be 4 of us
Yeah.
versus 5.
So
So contrary to what
You're
you
inclined to lose the
think,
vote?
yeah, contrary to what you believe, I believe, unfortunately, if you like it or not, my political persuasion, I believe in climate change. I believe we should take steps to address it, and I do not see this as a hard tax. There's all kinds of taxes out there. I do not see this as detrimental. I see this as helpful. I think you have children and you look towards the future, you really need to start thinking hard about
Yeah.
ways to solve this problem. This may not be the ultimate solution, but I think if we take no action on anything and we continue to stall, then we get nowhere. So if Matt is out and Matt is in support of this, then it's 3 of you and maybe 2 people that would have approved this.
Well,
So
the
then,
vote last week was 4-1.
yeah, but if you defer it and then Matt's not here,
Then it's, then unless something changes, it's
Yeah.
3-1.
yeah. So we're kind of upside down. 3-1, because Dan's not going to support this. There's no way Dan's going to support this. And you seem on the fence, so I'm just being honest.
Yeah, no, I understand. There's no intent on my part. I don't think that,
And you may say you don't represent the residents of Aleppo, but I believe I represent the Democrats in Aleppo. So
I just don't
the
think-
Zenchuks are people of that party, and they wrote that letter, and Tim Kelly is, and I do feel the way they do, so.
I just think that we don't have time tonight. I mean, we just saw this.
Okay, but Matt is leaving us, so I just want to be clear on that, so. We can
If you're
defer
comfortable,
this, we can keep deferring it till we have more representation on the board, and maybe it might even go the other way, but, you know. That's the way I feel about it.
In its current structure, I would not be in favor of voting on it. It does not
So again, we do nothing.
sound.
Fine, that's fine, we do nothing.
So, but Michelle,
We do nothing, just, it goes nowhere, like, every single time we try and work towards a climate change solution, everyone's like, it's a tax, it's an issue. It's like, when is anyone going to be brave enough to actually take a stand on the matter? I'm sorry, that's the way I feel about
You don't need
it.
to be sorry. You may make a motion at any time. Make a motion, get a second, and
I'd rather vote on it tonight, and,
but you need to make a motion. We don't have action on the table, so you need to make a motion.
well, I
Motion
think,
to-
I think the version that we were just drafting is fine. What we just discussed, what you have there in front of you, that you've edited.
Okay,
we
so
agree
I hear
that we-
you- I hear you making a motion to adopt a statement saying the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township support HR 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. We urge our elected leaders to work towards this as a potential solution to climate change. Is that your motion?
Yes.
Okay, is there a second? I'll second it. So there's a motion and a second. The motion is to adopt a statement saying the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township, Pennsylvania supports HR 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. We urge our elected leaders to support this as a potential solution to climate change. Is there any further discussion?
So if,
No, just a request.
Yes.
I still feel that I don't really understand how this thing works. You're talking about $400 billion as this thing goes through its curve. That's why I asked the question 2 meetings ago, if you're reducing the carbon and you're taxing the carbon, why does the curve not follow the reduction? And they gave me a chart which I couldn't quite feel as though it was understandable. So.
You might also ask if it's supposedly revenue neutral, how would that incentivize anybody to change their behavior? If the cost is
it's on businesses.
Okay, okay.
Did you read the?
Okay, wait. We've been so good for so long about always being respectful of everybody. Let's let one person finish talking before we have somebody else talk,
Okay,
please.
go ahead.
So my request is, can you get me a copy? Because I looked tonight and I can't find the initial document that Tim gave us.
Sure. The whole act or that chart that you're looking for?
I have the chart. I don't have the.
You need another one of this?
And there
Okay.
was, on the first and second page, there were things that I thought left an open checkbook.
In the language of this?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, I will get you another copy of that.
There was also a website that Tim had sent out previously that you could look into, some of the information on that website. Had you seen that? No? Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Dare, I think you were in the middle talking. Can I let you finish what you wanted to say?
I'm done.
Okay. Well, Commissioner DePlaga, as frustrating as this is going to make you, in keeping with our protocol, I am now duty-bound to move that we postpone this till the next meeting. Because we always do that. We don't take any action on things
Okay.
that are only appointed, that are only made today.
I would prefer that we had a fifth individual here before we vote on this. And
Well,
I don't
then
know
we
what the
can-
timeline is on this, but until someone
Well, you
replaces you.
You can amend his motion to defer it until there's 5 members of the board.
There you go. That's perfect.
So we're going to make a motion to defer, oh, I should do this. It's going to take me, well, okay. So the action log says, the main motion is a motion to adopt a resolution stating the Board of Commissioners of Aleppo Township supports HR 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. We urge our elected leaders to work towards this as a potential solution to climate change. That's the main motion. The subsidiary motion is a motion to defer until there are 5 members of the board. Is there a second on the subsidiary motion?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. So any further discussion with respect only to the subsidiary motion to defer until there are 5 members of the board? Okay, I hear none. Anybody in the audience have anything they want to say about the subsidiary motion to defer until there are 5 members of the board? No, I hear none.
I will say something later, yes.
Sounds good. Okay, everybody understand what's going on and what we're voting on right now? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right, that motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Okay, any other unfinished business? Any new business? Well, I have some new business. So as we found out earlier today, this is my last meeting here. I'm submitting my resignation effective June 28, 2019, so that my family and I can move to Osborne, and then we won't be in the municipality anymore. I'll be running around the municipality for the next couple of weeks, but this will be my last formal meeting. And I don't want to belabor this point, I don't want to make things longer than they need to be, but I do definitely want to stop and put a bow on, I thought 6 years, but here it says 5 years, so maybe I was
14,
overthinking
15, 16,
things.
17, 18, 19.
That's 6 years. Okay. Oh, I see. I'm doing that, okay. So 6 years, I want to put a bow on 6 years. You know, I know that a lot of people don't think a lot about local government, but I am extremely proud of the 6 years that I've spent here. And I am not overstating things to say that it has been one of the highlights of my life and my career so far. And I really, really am honored to have spent time here. There are a few people that I want to thank, and again, I won't belabor this, but Vice President Jones, I wouldn't have been here if you didn't knock on my door one day and encourage me to run. So thank you. I appreciate you being the impetus that put me here.
Good choice.
To my wife and kids who were here earlier, they've sat through these meetings, they've gone to Seven Springs to seemingly endless conventions, they've gone and picked up litter. They've been extremely patient, and I appreciate them. Thank you. And last, and of course, I'm trying to move through this quickly, so if there are people that think they should be thanked and I didn't thank them, I appreciate you too. But Gwen has had to deal with so much in terms of me, and there's so much that I know that Gwen wishes was different about me, and Gwen, it has been a pleasure to work with you, and I appreciate the time that we spent together.
Thank you.
More good things have happened in the last 6 months, 6 years than I could say, and I won't list them all out. I know Gwen thinks I will. I'd be happy to list them out, but I don't think that's the right thing to do. I do think there are, how many things, Gwen?
3?
There are 3 things that I think I do want to call out that were good things that I'm proud of. First and foremost is our video and digest system. When I say that the time I've spent here is one of the proudest things of my life and my career, the video digest system is one of the things that I've accomplished in my life that I am more proud of than anything else. When I leave here, I truly don't just think that we'll have changed the way local government is dealt with in Aleppo. I believe that we have set the standard for local government and transparency for everybody else in the country to follow. I think that I am very proud to walk away from here and say that everybody else should be playing catch up with what we're doing here. Radical transparency in government shouldn't just be a campaign promise that gets forgotten about when it becomes inconvenient to execute. It should be the guiding light of representative democracy, whether it's big or small. And I believe that, and I'm so proud of what we've done here in that regard. The second thing that we've done that I'm really proud of is our Earth Day and our Christmas tree shredding event. Every year at the Earth Day event, I tell the story of Eric Schmidt, who was just a guy that was outside picking up trash one day. And one of his neighbors saw him doing that, and he came out and started to pick up trash with him. And the next year, the two of them did that together, and other people came out, and the snowball grew bigger and bigger and bigger. And I see what we've done with both the Earth Day event and the Christmas tree event as our opportunity to contribute to that snowball. And I think it's a great thing. They're just small events, but I'm proud that we got them started. The last thing that we did that I'm very proud of, as I look back over the last 6 years, is what we've done with emergency preparedness. And we obviously have Judy Haluka to thank in large respect to this, but when I hear about how far behind other municipalities are with respect to emergency management, it makes me puff out my chest so deeply to be able to say that not only are we compliant with what Allegheny County says we should be able to do, but I really do believe that if any of the 5 people on this board were the first people to get to this building, they would know what they were supposed to do, and they would be ready to give Aleppo residents the help that they need to get through whatever that crisis is. And again, I'm very proud of that. I wouldn't be me if I didn't finish up my list of things by saying that there are things that I'm not happy with. There are things that I'll walk away from here and wish that we had done differently. Gwen, how many of them are there?
There are 3.
There are 3, that's right. The first is the lawsuit with Masonic Village that Solicitor Stone mentioned earlier. And obviously I can't say too much about this because it's ongoing litigation and it wouldn't be appropriate for me to comment on ongoing litigation. But the whole point is that it is ongoing litigation. It was here the day that I got sworn in, and it's here tonight. And I really wish, I'll walk away really wishing that there's more that we could have done to have made it so that that was not ongoing litigation. The second thing that I wish we had accomplished is a conversion to a paperless office. And Gwen is rolling her eyes, and I know that she's rolling her eyes because I know it's not easy for Gwen or Kim as we make this transition. But I am convinced, and part of my parting wisdom is that I am convinced that a paperless office is the way of not just the future of local government, it's the way of the future for all businesses. There's a ski pro who always makes this, when he's talking about people taking trips, he makes this statement, he says, if you don't do it this year, you'll only be 1 year older when you do it. And I think that's very true with any digital conversion. Paperless office is going to become mainstream, and all the effort that we put in now will just be made up later when we actually make the conversion. So I'm glad that we've taken steps, and I really do think we've taken good steps, but we're not there. I cannot say check, and I wish I could. Similarly, the last thing I wish we had accomplished that we didn't was getting the lot on Glen Mitchell Road cleaned up, the Swickley lot. I promised Kathy Johnson, I wrote her an email that there are words I'm going to eat. I said to her, you mark my words, I am going to get something done with that lot. And we didn't. Again, I think we are very well on the road to that happening, and I am encouraged by what's going on, but it's not something that we got done. And I wish I could walk away from my time here being able to say that we got that done. And I encourage folks here to make sure that that does get done. I know you will.
It's only 6 months, but you got another 6 till the end of the year.
Well, we've been working on that for a long time. Okay, and again, I don't want to end on a bad note because there's so much more good that I think has gotten done in the last 6 years than things that got undone. So I leave my time here absolutely delighted by my experience, and I want to thank all the residents of Aleppo Township for trusting an unproven political independent. I think that is remarkable that somebody who's not a member of the Republican Party or not a member of the Democratic Party got elected not once but twice. And y'all had faith in me and let me lead, and I appreciate that. So I encourage you to please continue to have faith in people who are truly outside the political machine. I know that can get difficult. There are even locally, there's a strong Republican group and there's a strong Democratic group, and I encourage you to be mindful of people who don't fall into either of those categories. I encourage you to continue to have faith in the role of technology in local government. I think it's really important, and I think that it can be frustrating and it can require some confidence and faith along the way, but it's a good thing. And finally, I request that everybody continue to demand real, brutal transparency. It's important, and it only happens if the people sitting in the seats out there require it. And it only happens if the people sitting in the seats up here make it a point of insistence. It's going to happen, and we're going to make it happen. So I say thank you to everybody, and thanks for making Aleppo Township a great place to live. Okay, citizen participation.
Oh, we're on new business.
Oh, sorry, do you have any other new business?
I have new business.
Okay.
We had this email circulating last week from Amy Sturgis regarding HB 1400. They're supposed to vote on it today. I don't know if anyone followed it. I didn't check, but does anyone have any input, Harlan, on that small cell wireless? I mean, not small. Well, it's bigger small cell wireless or taller poles. Did anyone look it over?
Yeah, Gwen and I talked about it. And Gwen, your conclusion was that we can upgrade ours at the point when the study's done?
Ms. Sturgis asked us to oppose this bill because it would take away zoning authority from local government, reduce the fees we can set for the FCC, also reduce our ability to manage our own local right-of-way, and increase the size of the wireless facilities from 3 feet, I think it's 3 feet to 6 feet, and the size of, and also the height of the poles.
Yeah.
Yes, I did read that.
Okay, what do you think?
As an
I can give you an update on the legislation.
Okay.
So this has been sort of being battered around for a long time, for months, maybe years, on the small cell towers. Dan Cohen's firm has done an analysis of what the impact of that would be on local municipalities. I have that, and I can share that with you. And it makes recommendations for municipalities on what they can do if this passes.
Well, they were supposed to vote on noon today, so I don't even know what, I didn't check, so I don't know how it went. But I asked Valerie to look into it. I wasn't really sure which way it would go. I wanted like more input because we only got this on Thursday, so I really didn't have time
The point is,
to.
if it doesn't pass, you don't need to make any adjustments in your current ordinance. If it does pass, it may require you to implement certain new procedures that would benefit the industry, but would take away some of the local zoning powers of the local government. But again, I don't know what happened today.
Okay.
And so all I can tell you is, if you want, I can share Dan Cohen's analysis. It was a summary, and it might help illuminate what some of the issues are.
That would be great.
We talked about it as part of our zoning ordinance, but it was not related to any state level legislation. It was just if nothing happens over here, we can address it when we redo our zoning ordinance, but that doesn't, that has nothing, That's
So
separate from
Michelle,
Michelle's
we reviewed
issue.
zoning ordinances relative to housing,
HB
et cetera.
1400. Sorry, Matt asked me what the name of the bill was.
Okay.
Sorry.
As we are reviewing other ordinances and zoning aspects, that's the time we will adjust according to what happened today.
Okay.
And I think you recall, we saw one at the conference. We saw a presentation on this issue by Attorney Cohen.
By Dan, yeah.
But it's been on the table for a while, and it's significant.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Quite significant.
HB 1400?
That's what I had in the email. Let me
Yeah,
check.
that's-
Is that the right number? Is that what you have?
1400 has to do with firearms.
Sorry. That's what was written in the email from Amy Sturgis. Oppose HB 1400. Maybe it's wrong, but maybe the number's not correct.
Well, in any event, it's too late for you to oppose it
If it passed. I just want to get input on it, basically.
Yeah, no, that's
That
what
was
I'm
my
saying.
business.
I can probably.
That was the
catch a
business.
summary.
Yeah, that would be great.
Can you email that?
Sure.
Thank you, Harlan.
Volumes.
All right, any other action on HB 1400?
Okay.
Just that Harlan's going to send us the information, and hopefully we have input on it, and if it passed, I guess we got to change our zoning.
Okay, any other new business?
Yes, HB 1577, which I sent to everyone last week. That was forwarded to me from Valerie Gatos, our state representative, regarding second-class counties and the dissolution of municipalities. I believe it's voluntary, but I forwarded it to everyone because I only read it through very quickly. I didn't know if anyone had a chance to review that. I don't know when it's coming up for a vote or not.
Well, that's another one that's been kicking around for a long time. And what it does is gives first and second class counties. The only first class county in Pennsylvania is Philadelphia, I believe.
Yeah.
The only second class county is Pittsburgh.
Allegheny
Or
County.
Allegheny County, sorry.
Yeah.
So what it does is it gives a municipality the option, if it chooses to dissolve its entity and become part of the county. And there, again, you really have to study that. There are very serious ramifications. I don't know of any municipalities that have expressed an interest in dissolving and becoming part of the county. But again, in your situation, I don't think it would have much impact, because I think the municipalities that it's directed at are municipalities that cannot afford to sustain their municipal services, and that if they were willing to dissolve, they could take advantage of the county's services. But I think that's the impetus. It's for distressed communities who can't afford to provide services.
Okay. Doesn't sound bad when you put it that way.
Oh, it's because of the financial stress of some communities
Yeah.
that are in big trouble.
Anyhow, she asked me to forward it to everyone, so that's what I did.
Okay, so anything else with respect to HB 1577? Okay, any other new business? Now, citizen participation.
I promise I'll make it quick. Art Capuzzi, Weber Road. Matt, thank you very much. You have brought us out of the 17th century into the 21st. I've been up in Vermont for a couple of weeks, and one of your ex-teammates sent down a thank you for your service.
I appreciate that.
I just want to quickly again voice my objection to this HR 763, even addressing it on a township level. I apologize. One of the commissioners had asked me to draft a letter, of which I kind of did but never sent it. I will for the next meeting. As I expressed before, I don't think we should be getting involved in federal level things. Yes, we should get involved about the issue of climate change. There is definitely something there that needs addressed. I think the information you have and we have right now is too ambiguous. He said that there would be after administrative costs, there would be a rebate back to the public. Well, there wasn't any mention of what that administrative cost would entail or what it would be. He said he could either do, or they would suggest either a direct deposit or a mailing of the rebate. And I don't know, when we did our park thing, there was what, 80 letters?
3?
5 of them that couldn't be delivered. So what would it be with hundreds of millions of citizens in the United States? And to me, direct deposit on a federal level, even though IRS has it, it's just another database for me. So I would hope that you would look at it closely, get much more information. And again, you do a tremendous job here in the township. It is much, much different than it was 6 years ago and obviously before. And I think that's where our focus should be. We've grown. People want to come to our township and they talk about our transparency. And you talk about democracy, and yes, that's what it's all about. If people want to support this, we have federal representatives that have local offices that they can go to individually. When I hear a statement that many municipalities have supported this, I see no list. To me, it's just a kind of an open statement without support. If you should decide to draft something about climate change, I would hope you would address it with factual backup to support your statement. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else, citizen participation? Yes, sir.
I'm Dave Von
Step up and hit the mic, please.
I'm Dave Von Kale. I live on Red Gate. Just wanted to know if there's any future plans for repairing the road that's caving in.
We did meet with PennDOT representatives. Tom and I met with them last week, and they toured it and see that it is collapsing. And they have a meeting sometime this week with their geotech emergency team, and they're gonna get back to us with something. I don't know that it's gonna be a repair plan, but they're gonna tell us the result of the meeting. So I think that's step one, is that they will be getting back, telling us what they discussed at that meeting.
Because if they know the water flow that's running down that road, it's running right to that hole. And if they can maybe change the water flow.
We talked about the drainage too, or lack of drainage,
Lack of drainage.
and the ruts that it creates on
As
the
long
other
as there's
side.
water running towards that hole, it's gonna keep going more. So, okay. Thank you.
Okay, sure.
Anybody else, citizen participation? Yes, sir.
This is funny, I come for one thing and I have to do it.
That's how it happens, right?
Yeah.
6 years later. Yeah.
The company, the logistics company that's parking their trucks here in the lot, as Gwen knows, my property is right there. It butts up to it, and I haven't complained about them or anything. However, there is a complaint now that they're, I don't know if they're intentionally doing it or if it's coming out of their trucks, but when they leave, I see trash in the lot now. And every Friday, one of the trucks, and it's a different numbered truck each time, leaves their headlights on. And I don't know if if it annoys the neighbors or not, but, you know, I don't know why they're doing it. I talked to a gentleman and he denied doing it when they were replacing the batteries in his truck. And I told him, I said, I saw you walk in front of the beam, the headlights. I'm gonna, you know, but, and I guess it's just a nuisance thing, but the garbage is what concerns me right now. So if somebody could say something to them, you know, thank you.
Gwen, would you make contact with the owner?
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
If I could quickly say, on Earth Day, Dawn and I worked there specifically, just the two of us in that area, and we spent
Long
a long time there, 2 full bags of trash, and it entailed everything. And it's just like they're kicking it out of the doors. And I went by 2 days later, and it was all over the place again.
They've dumped ashtrays, you know, fast food wrappers, cans, bottles, you name it. I don't know if a trash can would help or.
So this is waste generated by the drivers, not?
Well, it was just specifically from them, because it was all around the trucks, underneath the
It was
trucks.
not commercial trash.
No,
No, it was
Trucks.
personal
This was off
trash.
the- This was off the.
Oh, yeah, cigarette packs,
Okay.
cigarette
Fast
butts,
foods.
fast foods, containers,
Mhm.
bottles, cans,
Someone just dumped their ashtray out.
on and on and
Yeah.
on.
Like Gwen, when we have our meeting, that can be on the agenda.
Okay.
Well, we certainly have a litter ordinance, right?
Yeah, I mean, Mr. Beck, there, Officer Beck, write some
Yeah, I mean,
tickets.
if someone calls and sees something, we can respond to. I mean,
the only thing you can do though legally though is you have to observe it.
If you see it, you could write down a license plate, is that enough? I mean, what do you need?
see them dumping it out, we'd see who did it. It could blow there, it could, who knows what. Someone would have to actually see them throwing it out there.
Okay,
So we really, without that, we're kind of tied.
yeah, okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else, citizen participation? All right, I would like to be able to announce that we're adjourned one last time. Unfortunately, we have an executive session to discuss pending litigation in the Masonic litigation. So we will stop the recording now. Those of you who are watching at home or who are watching the recording later, we're going to, for all intents and purposes, be finished here. We'll go into executive session. We will come back on the record to formally end the meeting when we finish with that executive session, but we won't go back on the recording, and we won't do anything, take any action other than anything that might come up in the executive session.